This is Newcap News.
And municipalities across the region are crunching the numbers of the 2016 census. Many communities around Lloydminster are seeing moderate gains, while others are seeing further effects of lower commodity prices. Adam McVicker has more.
Despite a difficult stretch of economic strain, Lloydminster is growing. This, according to Stats Canada's latest federal census.
A lot of people were concerned we had saw a net migration, and we saw that number actually go the other way. It's improved. From 2011, it's huge.
Since 2011, the border city's population has grown by 13.1%.
Population growth is key to everything because, as I said before, without growth, we're going to be going backwards, and we're very fortunate to have that growth.
The Saskatchewan side leading the way in growth, up 20.4% to 11,765, while the Alberta side grew a modest 8.9%, reaching 19,645, numbers the city plans to use for much-needed funding.
To support our applications to the government, provincially and federally, they like to work off Statistics Canada numbers, so this is a good news story for us all the way around.
Meanwhile, Cold Lake, a city also feeling the effects of slumping oil, also saw moderate growth of 8.1%, pushing their population to just under 15,000.
We are continuous to invest into our infrastructure, expand our recreation facilities so that people want to live here. We're working with Portage College to try to expand their facility here in Cold Lake. So we really want people to come in here as a young person, start up a family, and want to stay here for a long time.
Further west, it's a different story. According to the census, Bonnyville's population has decreased 12.9% since 2011, one of the lowest rates of growth in the country for communities their size. This is prompting the municipality to do their own census.
I think they're far from accurate, and if past trend is anyways accurate, the actual population probably around 6,500 people, 65 to 66. Maybe even we show a marginal growth, I'm not sure. We'll have to see what the actual numbers come in at.
Even with a drop in commodity prices and a slowdown in construction, most municipalities in the Midwest region are seeing the census numbers as a positive for now. Adam McVicker, Newcap News.
Well, the Olive Tree, an organization that spends their days giving back to the community, is celebrating after a generous donation from a local man looking to do the same. It was all smiles at the nonprofit as the Fred North Charitable Foundation presented a check for $150,000 to the charity.
We're looking to do things to help the community. We checked out your organization and found it to be a very worthwhile thing, doing a lot of good, and so we decided to put in a small token of help.
Along with many thanks to the foundation, the Olive Tree says this will help them with their planned relocation in the near future.
It means the world to us, really. It's probably the start, kickoff of a capital campaign. It means probably our biggest need right now, which is a place of our own, a home of our own, becomes possible.
The Olive Tree is looking to be in their new home by the summer and hopes it will include all of their programs under one roof. Well, Pink Shirt Day is approaching, and Holy Rosary High School had a special presentation from the co-founder of Pink Day and a former Grey Cup champion from the Saskatchewan Rough Riders, all in support of the National Anti-Bullying Day. Chantal Germo reports.
The students of Lloydminster have continued to be active in the Red Cross's Beyond the Hurt bullying prevention program for several years.
With Pink Day coming up next week and the rallies and the National Pink Day coming up at the end of February as well, we want these kids to see we notice what they're doing, we want them to keep working hard, and we want to keep imagining no bullying.
The presentation provided stories of experiences, the definition of bullying, and tips to help students who will become leaders of the future.
A lot of the problem is that people just don't know what it's about and how it affects people. In this presentation, it just helps people understand the long-term effects and how to stop it and how to just let everyone be themselves.
We have to give the kids skills. We got to give them tools, right? We got to give them, how do you identify bullying? And if bullying happens, what do we do? Who do we tell? Because if we don't give them that, then maybe they sit there and they keep it inside. And if they keep it inside, things can get, that's when bad things can happen.
With the message of kindness wins, those involved in the movement feel that Pink Day and anti-bullying could potentially last all year. Chantal Germo, Newcap News.
And Lloydminster emergency responders are gearing up for the 3rd annual Battle of the Badges. The hockey tournament pits the local fire department against the RCMP to fundraise for some local nonprofits.
And for the puck drop.
For Fire Chief Jordan Newton, the game is more than just playing hockey.
It means a lot for us to be playing in this game, and a lot since we renamed it the Todd Gustavson Memorial Battle. It's a great way to remember our past fire chief and continue that into the future for all the great things he did for our community.
Inspector Neil Pearson says there's a healthy rivalry between the two departments.
We're all working towards the common goal of community safety, and so nothing better than a little competition and have a little fun, and I think it's great.
But the teams have a different strategy leading up to the tournament.
We're doing lots of training, lots of ice time, lots of dry ice practices. We're trying to cut down on the snack food, the fast food.
Put our skates on and away we go. I think we'll do just fine.
Battle of the Badges is March 10th and will be featured on Rogers Hometown Hockey that weekend. Valentine's Day is less than a week away, and that may have couples across the city scrambling to find the perfect gift. But simplifying your plan can not only help your budget, but also significantly reduce stress. Josh Ryan has more in this week's Healthy Living.
For many, Valentine's Day weekend is one of the most romantic times of the year. However, it's one of the most stressful for others.
Publicly and, in all kinds of ways commercially, there's a lot of expectations on people to, do more or buy more or create more of a sense of romance in their lives. For a lot of people, that kind of equates to feelings of inadequacy and sometimes a feeling of just not doing enough, not giving enough.
Part of what causes those feelings is needing to spend enough on a gift. But there's plenty of options for people worried about their budget, such as purchasing a single rose instead of a bouquet.
Whatever your budget is, we can meet it. If it's a single rose, as long as you're getting something for Valentine's, usually that's all a lady is concerned about, just a little something. It doesn't have to be something big.
Even jewelry is available at more affordable prices, such as Pandora bracelets and various styles of heart necklaces.
We have probably 50 different styles of heart jewelry, and that just seems to be a traditional Valentine item.
Finding gifts geared towards men also has options, be it styled watches or items to decorate a man cave.
I always find anything that has a bit of humor on it, which is good.
And remember, there are plenty of other gestures that have meaning around Valentine's Day.
Some people really enjoy giving and receiving gifts, and some people really enjoy, giving and receiving love in all kinds of other ways, not necessarily through a gift in particular.
You don't have to spend a lot of money at Valentine's, but you can if you like.
Josh Ryan, Newcap News.
Well, one way technology in agriculture is quickly becoming a game changer is in aerial surveillance. In this week's Agriculture Report, Gerard Aalbers finds out how the use of drones is becoming a key tool for producers.
But not everybody knows how drones and precision agriculture necessarily go together, or at least all the different ways they do.
Participants at a recent workshop on technology in agriculture got an update on the ways that unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs or drones, are making it easier for producers to scout their land, collect data and have this analyzed. Warren Gannick is the Chief Technology Officer with Green Arrow Tech in Manitoba. He sees drones as a cost-effective tool, allowing producers to see what's really going on.
Now with the UAVs and drones being available that can hover as little as 10 feet off the ground, that resolution and that information now is available in such a high detail that farmers can make excellent decisions based off that data and at very affordable prices.
From a few $100s to a whole lot more, a producer can get a drone with just the basics to all the bells and whistles. Gannick says when using drones, in most areas you can usually fly between 300 to 500 feet.
The fortunate thing is when it comes to farming and looking at that kind of data or those kind of projects, by definition you're away from everywhere else. You're not exactly in the middle of a city to have a farm there. So in most cases there's very little risk.
A producer may outfit a drone with various sensors to get agronomic and other data, but will still have to take the information to an agronomist. Companies like Green Arrow Tech are able to provide a cost-benefit solution by collecting the data you need without a producer having to go to flight school or spend the extra money on high-tech sensors. Gannick says they can also make referrals for a producer.
In most cases, when it comes to the crop health side of things, we find that the individual producers are taking that to their trusted agronomist or crop consultant partner so that they can do the further analysis needed to come up with a variable rate prescription for their equipment.
Gannick says on the drainage side, most producers can see what needs to be done from the aerial data and are choosing to do that work themselves. But at the end of the day, getting the data is only beneficial if you're able to turn it into usable information to assist in precision agriculture decision making.
This is very powerful information that really everybody should be able to have access to.
Gerard Lampow, Newcap News.
This is Newcap Sports.
Well, the Junior A Bobcats had a chance to climb to within 3 points of the AJHL North's last playoff spot against the Bonnyville Pontiacs Wednesday. It was a game that started one way but finished much differently. Lance Phillips with more.
The Bobcats started the game looking like Bonnyville's equal, but midway through the second, the game quickly unraveled, and by the end of the third, Lloydminster was on the losing side of a 4-0 score.
Period and a half, I thought we played well, competed. You know, it was a good game, and then we stopped competing, stopped moving our feet, and you know they're a good hockey team. You can't take shifts off, and it ended up costing us, another game tonight.
I thought we were good today. I thought we pressured well in zone. We did a good job of flushing pucks away from the middle, which is where teams will score against us.
I think it was puck movement. That was a big one. I mean, you kind of noticed they started collapsing. We stayed, an even keel, and that's kind of what separated us tonight.
Entering Wednesday's game, the Pontiacs were the 5th most penalized team in the AJHL. And the events of the game certainly didn't change that for the better. Bonnyville went to the box 5 times. And it was an area the Bobcats had tremendous opportunity to take advantage of. And instead, it became their nemesis once again when Derek Brown scored the Pontiacs' 12th shorthanded goal of the season late in the second period.
Rick set a goal at the beginning of the year saying he wanted 10 shorthanded goals, and I think we've blown that out of the water. But I don't know, he really emphasizes a lot where if we have the puck, we have the opportunity, just go.
The Bobcats' gameplay was viewed quite differently by both coaches, but Clayton summed it up in 3 words.
Will to win. Do whatever it takes to win. That's blocking shots, doing whatever it takes to let the team win. And, once we figure that out, we'll be a good hockey team.
I think that Lloyd is way better than what their record reflects because they work hard, they're young, they've got some skilled guys, and though we won 4-0 today, they still forced us to earn it.
If guys don't want to compete and the will to win, shorten, go down to 2 lines. I don't know. We got to find ways to win here. It's a huge weekend coming up for us, and there's some games that we can win in there. But again, we have the will to win.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.
A player many Lloydminster hockey fans remember fondly, Brayden Goulet, was back on the Civic Centre ice, but this time in a Pontiacs jersey. The first-year centre was an integral part of last year's midget AAA Bobcats. As captain, he guided the team to a spot in the TELUS Cup, and Wednesday had a chance to catch up with some old teammates.
I saw some of the guys from the team last year before the game, and it makes you smile every time you see them. You got great memories with them. But yeah, it's a lot different though. You're on the different bench. You're looking at the other side. The fans are giving it to you when you're making a good play. They're not cheering for you anymore.
Now, Swan thinks Goulet has 2 key aspects to his game that have paid dividends to the team, traits that may have helped him make the transition from midget to junior easier.
He's as high a character kid as I've ever coached in my life. He comes to the rink every day and he makes our culture better through his work ethic and just the way he treats people, which are 2 things, character and ability, and he brings that and it's contagious to our dressing room.
It's a different role. I mean, I was a leader when I played in Lloyd here, so I always kind of learned, be a leader no matter what. So, I'm trying to be that with this team too.
Goulet has yet to register a point in 5 games with the Pontiacs. Well, 2 referees in the Sask Valley Minor Hockey League have been suspended for ending a game early. On January 26, 2 refs at a bantam game in Hague, Saskatchewan ended the game for what they say was fear of their own safety. The game was against the Prince Albert Hurricanes, and according to one of the officials, Prince Albert's coach and crowd were threatening them. The RCMP were eventually called and the referees were escorted out of the arena.
as the RCMP is escorting us out, and I said to the officer, I said, "Can you see the disrespect that we're getting on the way out while we have two police officers on either side of us? I was like, can you imagine the disrespect that we got throughout this game?" And then, so on the way home, we actually phoned the league president, gave him a heads up of what happened, said, this is what happened. This is what happened with the game. The game was called. These are the penalties that will be assessed. And I will get the game report to you within the next 12 hours.
It's unclear for how long the refs will be benched, and the refs say it's too costly to fight the suspension.